YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. I have a special announcement. This guy is now a motorcycling fiend, as you can see. And he's got one of the coolest little e-bikes from Hyper GoGo that we've ever seen. We are gonna totally film this, and I swear it's raining on me right now. What the heck is going on? This is so weird, it's like sunny out. Okay, Guy, are you ready to take it around and show the people just how awesome this is? This is our youngest, his name is Caleb, and we'll do a standby at the end of the video after the unbox build radio setup, which there's not any radio setup. I'll pretend it's radio controlled. Okay, go ahead. So this thing puts out steam from both tailpipes. It's so cool. And by the way, full disclosure, Caleb is our most craziest rider of motorcycles in the youngest size class of our family.
Yes.
But also, he does a really good job of balance. Okay, go down the end of the driveway, bud. It took him a few minutes to get used to. The handlebars being canted in like they are on these choppers. But I can tell you this, he has done really good. They know how to check for traffic. This is part of our normal process. And by the way, he stays on our driveway, if you couldn't tell that. We have a 40-foot wide approach, which was some fun to get from the county, let me tell you. Look at that kid. Oh man, that is so cool. Good job, Caleb. Just go ahead and do some more rounds for us. So as you can see, there's some audio, and all you have to do is with the press of one button, you can shut off the amazing sound. But I'm gonna tell you this, you're gonna want it. Now also, you can connect with the Hyper GoGo app. You can change the lights. Yes, there are lights on the engine cylinders. They're just simulated engine cylinders, obviously. It's an electric bike. The charger plugs in on that little red hangy down thing, and you'll see as he turns around here, it's pointed toward us on the chrome. The chrome tailpipes are not gonna burn your kid because they're made of plastic but painted in a chrome finish. The body is made of aluminum and or steel and painted similarly to match. Again, you'll see all this in the unbox build radio setup. They're true pneumatic tires, so yes, they are a little bit low. I probably should have put some extra air pressure in there. And we did have all of our kids ride it except for one that was too chicken to do it yet. And she's generally a little bit tough on balance. So super excited to be able to bring this. Caleb, let's do a little yard riding after you get around one more time, okay? So just so you guys know, we can actually go on-road and off-road with this bike, but you need to be a little bit more careful off-road because it's, you know, you're sitting in a different position. You can see there's not much suspension. Our kids typically ride these bikes all over the yard, and our yard is large. We have 23 acres of yard. But mostly our front, I see his sunglasses bouncing.
Yeah.
Okay, you can go back on road when you're ready, bud. So the transition threshold onto the concrete, you'll notice the bump was a little bit bigger. But I can tell you this, guys, really fun. There's also red lights on the tailpipes. So it's really nice. So when they ride at night, there is a bright headlight. You press and hold the light button for 2 seconds. It turns on and off. We also demonstrate that later at the end of the unbox. And we show the app on my cell phone so you can see how it works. And that gas can, it comes in half magnetically, so you can put a cell phone in there if you'd like. And I love the idle. I love the sound of the throttle. That is so much fun.
It's pretty cool.
Now also, this is the full speed. There's 3 speed modes, the lowest going to 5, the middle going to like 7, 8, and then the top supposedly going to 12, but it only goes to 10. I don't know why they say it goes to 12 in the app. It says 11.6, but it's actually 10. So that being said, 10 is plenty for most little kids like this. And if you're nervous and you want them to have a helmet on, by all means, that's a great idea. But we found that he has a full face shield helmet that he uses on the dirt bike from time to time, and then he has a bicycle helmet. And so in most cases, we found that they don't need them in our own driveway, but when they go up and down the road and we go on short rides, we'll go ahead and put helmets on. Also, the pegs are very strong. They're made of aluminum, and everything works really good. Caleb, why don't you come over here by us in the shade on your next round, okay? So we'll just listen to the noise. Okay, go ahead and brake right here for us. Good job. And then it goes to idle. So what do you think of this bike, Caleb?
It's good.
Okay, now can I show the people this? See, this comes off and it's magnetically attached. And so you can actually stick a cell phone into this pocket. Now my phone is a Galaxy S9, a Samsung Galaxy S9, and it fits fine. And as soon as you play music to this, you have to find 2 Bluetooths on your phone. And we'll talk about this more at the end of the video, but one Bluetooth is the application basis and one is the audio basis, at least on my version of Android in a basically old phone. So once you get your music playing or your YouTube video from Brian Phillips RC, it will actually broadcast the audio until such a time as that audio stops or you turn your volume down. Then it goes back to this. Or with one touch of the button, it stops making noise altogether, which is nice. And you may find that you don't want to listen to that. It's annoying at idle, but only because you're sitting at idle filming a video.
Right.
Okay, so we're gonna turn that back on and then show them the tailpipe quick. Pressing the exhaust button. Is it on or off?
It's on right now. Oh, you can see it a little bit on this side.
It's just kind of hard to see when it's bright daytime. But what we found is that you have to fill the water here. And it doesn't seem like a lot of water, but you're probably putting about an ounce in each side. So,
and you can see it really good at night when we did our night ride.
Because the light broadcasts into the steam. It's really fun. I thought it was going to be the stupidest thing ever, but it's really actually cool. And it puts out a lot of water. So just keep in mind, these bikes, you might look at them and think, oh yeah, my kid's going to be doing burnouts in the driveway. Yeah, that ain't happening, okay? Maybe if you put down soap water and then you still wouldn't do a burnout. But what I am going to say is that they ride safely. They're configured well. They're heavy duty construction, but they're not so heavy. This is only 41 pounds shipped, okay? I can pick this whole thing up. Caleb, hop off. Let's show them how high you are and kick the kickstand. There is a very easy to use kickstand. I'm gonna go ahead and press the audio button. Okay, so just so you guys can see the difference in size. So this is mini me and full size me. And then we have other kids. We have an oldest son, and then we have 2 girls in the middle. And everybody but our second girl rode this last night. So you'll see that in the dark video where we just running up and down after we got done with unbox. Also, the charger is very easy to use. It plugs in drum style. It's not a weird connector, so the kids can actually plug it in. It's got a green light that changes to red when it's done. You'll be very happy, and we do show that in the video as well. So if you guys want to see all the details, the unbox build radio setup, we'll share that. And obviously there's no radio setup, but this is Brian Phillips RC, and this is what we do on this channel is we don't make them the fastest, best, cheapest. And I'm just going to tell you right now, if you're looking for a fun dirt bike, we've also reviewed dirt bikes. We've also reviewed an ATV quad from these guys, Hyper GoGo, and they make one also that sits flat.
Yeah.
We're gonna review that if we can get details worked out because we wanna show you guys these different options. Yes, it's not radio controlled, but also you'll notice that we do a very limited period of our week with this being our latest video. And we do that on purpose because we know many of you guys following Brian Phillips RC really wanna see RC. But when you have kids and you have access to these amazing, these things, why would you not share it? It's so much fun. It's something that we love as a family. And it's something that we think a lot of you guys will also love. And if you don't love them, please forgive us. We understand that some of you are really hardcore about just fixed wing sailplanes. And some of you are very hard on about helicopters. And some of you love quads. And some of you love leaf blowers. All 3 of you. So we try not to totally beat a dead horse on those things. But our kids love these things too. And we love making our kids happy. And the other thing is, truthfully, guys, you got to remember, we're a family of 6 and the rest of the family sacrifices like crazy so that I can do what I love, which is bringing you guys new content. So every once in a while, we take one for the team on Brian Phillips RC. But that being said, this is an amazing product. Hyper GoGo does a good job. They have a pretty decent instruction manual. The only place that we were a little bit confused was on the front wheel. Of course, we figured it out. It wasn't that big a deal. But if there was a complaint we had on this bike, it was that. They have a very good manual, and then they missed like the only part that was confusing. Yeah. So other than that, the Bluetooth likes to disconnect from time to time, and you have to press and hold the power button to turn it on, and then press briefly to change the state of the light on these things, and press and hold to turn on and off your headlight. Pressing this power button briefly will change between S, which is full speed, L, which is low speed, And then N, which is not neutral, but middle speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who decided the letters? I would like to talk to them so I could, you know, like an airplane when they're walking up and they're just like smacking that lady and there's like a whole line to the front of the plane. That's what I would do. Except I'd be like the 4th guy, not the 10th guy. If you've not seen Airplane, please watch it before you throw comments my way. But anyway, this Cruiser 12 by GoGo is a great pick. I think you guys will love it. Show the people one more time just for size class reference. Also keep in mind the low seat versus the high seat. They also have this in a finished black matte. They also have it in a couple of different configurations. So when you follow our links, you'll help support Brian Phillips RC financially, which helps us to support our kids, which we have 4 of, and my wife, the wonderful camera crew, who selflessly puts her life into these videos. And I'm the one that loves all this stuff. So thank you, camera crew. And if you guys want to help support us in other ways, we have YouTube membership, super thanks for one-time support. Then we have one-time support through PayPal if you prefer to get out of the YouTube realm. And then we also, and remember, just for friends and family, as far as I'm concerned, then you don't share it with them. And then we have Patreon, which is another monthly support option. But we understand that really the basic principles of YouTube are, I don't really want to spend money. I want to learn about this item, and then I want to go get one if I like it a lot. And that, we totally get it. And we think that's the best way that you can use our videos and the little bit of service that we offer in terms of radio setup and builds and things like that. Because at the end of the day, you can watch 100 videos that show how amazing this is and never show you one fault, but we're going to show you everything that we see, both good, bad, and ugly. And if it's really ugly, we'll call them up and say, we're not doing it. So that being said, and by the way, if you didn't already know this, we probably have 4 to 10 e-bike companies hit us up every week to do videos. That is a reality we face. So we pick the best ones that are going to fit my body size and their body size that we love. And that way you guys don't have to sift through the 1,000 Chinese companies, 99 of which suck, 99% of which suck, and then 1% that are really good. So we try our best to target the best so that you guys only get the best on Brian Phillips RC. That being with RC airplanes, we try to review them all, even the sucky ones, so that you guys can see what not to buy. But we just love airplanes too. So that being said, we know you'll be around and we have footage coming right now, literally around the corner. Just wait like 6 or 7 hours and you'll probably see the video. So just stay tuned. And by the way, if you want to help support us, buy this thing from the link. It's in the link of the video description below, and you can see the alternative offering. Even if you know that you'll be waiting to see the video from us, that's fine. You won't hurt our feelings. Just go ahead and get it now if you like it. You'll still support us if you follow the link, and then you just navigate to the other one. Also, if you want to see other ATVs and things that we've done with the kids or with our adult e-bikes, all you have to do is go to Brian Phillips RC, and then you can sort by type, and you'll see that type of equipment. Or you can also search by brand, distributor, hobby shop, mom pop shop, and that's right there for you as well. And it's all the same items, just sorted so that you don't have to search, because we have like 1,800 plus videos on Brian Phillips RC, and they're not just shorts, they're longs. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned, unbox coming next. All right, guys, so we're outside, it's dark. You've already seen it right in the daylight, but this is Caleb, he's our youngest. And Caleb, why don't you put the kickstand down and stand up so people can see about how tall you are real quick. Okay, now just leave it on. Okay, so you can see how tall he is compared to me. And you can see his waistline and all that, just to give you some reference for size. And he fits this bike well, but I'm gonna tell you this, we've had him up and down a couple of times. He rode up and down the driveway just to get a feel for the steering is weird on a chopper. So it's gonna be a little bit different than a normal bicycle where you're reaching out and you've got a different type of control. So why don't you go ahead and jump on there and just carefully go around this front here, okay? You'll notice that we are wearing the appropriate shoe wear and helmets and things. Wait, we didn't do any of those.
The invisible knee pads.
So these things are slow, and we have a very controlled environment here. But just keep in mind, he is trying to take it easy because he's learning, and the light is very directional, we've noticed. And you can see the smoke, or steam, more specifically. Now, Caleb, do you want to go ahead and go up and down once? Okay, do it. So we'll walk out here. It's notably dark. We're doing this so you can see how the lights work. We have very, 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 very little traffic on our road in the nighttime. And so our kids have learned how to safely turn around. But you can see the lights are effective. You can really tell that there is some vehicle there. It looks a little bit like a UFO might be attacking it. But the thing is, we'll just let you listen. The cool thing is you can hear as they approach. You see him correcting on the steering? That's the chopper effect. Good job. Now just go in circles for us. We'll stand here where the light is. Caleb, do you want to try going up and down the grass just a little bit in the front yard? And you see how he put his foot out. Don't go crazy, just show us if it does it. Okay, so you can see it's doing okay. It's a little bit dewy in the grass, so I don't want him to crash. But Caleb tends to be really pretty good at this sort of thing. He controls a bike well.
Is he still in the lowest speed mode?
No, he's in sport mode.
He is, okay.
But he's being timid, you can tell, because
Yeah.
he's really holding off on the throttle. Now, one thing to let you know about our son, and it's probably similar for your kid, is they're gonna be a little bit timid at first, and next thing you know, they're gonna be burning out in the grass. Okay, now come back onto the sidewalk and drive up. Avoid the big bump. Good job. Now let's give us a couple circuits. So as you can see, he's having no problems staying on. He feels pretty confident. You can tell he's a little bit nervous in the turns because the handlebar configuration is so different than the dirt bike that we use. But it looks totally cool. I think it's a perfect fit for his size.
Yeah, it is.
And we were concerned because there's two different styles you can get from them. And there's one with the seat that's up high and one that the seat is down low. Okay, bud, come to a stop where you're comfortable. And then I think what we're gonna do is, even though it's evening, we'll go ahead and have the other kids try it real quick so you can get a size class. Okay?
Good job, bud.
Good job. Now go ahead and put your kickstand down and hop off. Yeah, you can do that from standing too. Good job. All right, Caleb, good job. We'll pause and get a bigger kid out. Okay, so this is Andrew. He's our oldest child. And so he's gonna try it, but just keep in mind, long legs mean that the handlebar configuration might be kind of tough. Keep in mind, if you're adapting this to a kid that's bigger, you can loosen these 4 bolts and move the handlebar forward significantly so that your turning motion is in a different angle. Okay, there is complete flexibility on where you mount that, but we mounted it to look like the advertisements. So go ahead, Andrew, give it heck. See if you can get it to go. So as you can see, he's slightly bigger and also making the tire deflect. We probably would need to get our wonderful air chuck out that we used our kittens to shamelessly promote. Sounds like you're really kind of having to give it a lot more throttle.
Yeah.
Okay, now carefully and effectively go down the driveway if you can. Okay, so Andrew's usually our craziest one with these little bikes because he can give it full speed all the time. And it pretty much barely keeps up with his body weight, okay? And then Laura really wants to try too, so we'll let Laura try.
And Andrew's probably about 5'5", maybe?
We stood next to each other so you get a size reference, but he weighs like less than 1/3 what I weigh. So the thing is, I'm not gonna ride this one because I don't wanna break it in half. But we do have a little bit of grade change there as he's coming up the hill. You guys know that from watching our videos. If you haven't already seen the thousands of videos, check out brianphillipsrc.com. And again, this is a dark video, but we've had such hot weather, it's actually perfect because it's very cool right now. Okay, come up here and stop, and we'll let Laura give it a shot. So how do you feel about the steering with your legs? Does it get in the way?
I think it's okay. It's actually not too bad. Not compared to other small bikes.
Okay. All right, we'll pause and we'll let one more try. Okay, so we have Laura. So you can see her size, height, and body type, and her leg length. Again, that's another thing you have to seriously consider. So standing next to me, you can tell she's a little bit shorter than Andrew and a little bit smaller than Andrew. So we'll go ahead and try this. Hannah's not gonna try it, but that's fine. Okay, Laura, give it a shot. See how you like it. And I want you to kind of go around the front here and just see if you're comfortable, and then we'll have you do one circuit down, okay? All right, Laura's also, she's just gonna give it full throttle like usual. And so you can see the leg configuration is where you run into problems because you kind of have to pull it into your legs and you can still turn. Does it feel comfortable?
Yeah, it's really comfortable.
Okay, now drive it to the end of the driveway. Make sure you got your fingers on the brakes so you can slow down good. Now remember, only rear brakes on this and many of these kids' e-bikes. So you're gonna get maximum braking effect on the front wheel. Well, we get the back braking effect because that's the wheel that's driven. So it's a little easier for them to manage that successfully. And it's similar, it's almost like a drum style brake. So it's not a very super effective disc brake like what we're gonna get on some of the more high performance e-bikes that we've dealt with. So as you can see, she's turning around here. We're just to make sure everything is good. And as you can see, this bike, it gives you a wide range of different sizes. It's gonna give you some comfort. Obviously, pneumatic tires means that you can put different tire pressures in to make your kids more comfortable or less comfortable, depending on how you want that to be. And you don't have to worry about them going out there and like having a massive accident. Okay, let her turn and we'll just stop you there, Laura. Good job. Now put the kickstand down and hop off. Okay, so how did you feel about the handlebars?
I thought it was good. I had plenty of room to turn.
Okay, so you had to kind of move your leg a little bit to make your turns though.
Yeah.
Okay, and it didn't feel like you were gonna tip off because you were doing that adjustment.
Nope.
Okay, well, what do you think? Do you think it's awesome?
Yeah, I really like it.
Okay, so obviously the kids like it, and we like when you guys buy these things from our links. It does help to support our channel. And yes, these are the kids that have to go into the dungeon, the terrible dungeon with lots of toys and food. And yes, there are bathrooms there too. So if you guys want to help support us and our kids that have to put up with all the filming, you can check out the links in the video description for this amazing product from GoGo. And yes, we have done a quad for GoGo, and the kids are loving it, and we've had pretty good success with it. But just if you have more questions about our entire experience, you can ask us in the comments below. This thing is definitely a winner. We weren't sure when we saw it, but now that they've all ridden it, we're excited to do it. And we are gonna give you guys a little bit of day footage. You've already seen that at the beginning of this video. Hopefully this wraps it up with a nice tight bow because you've seen it in the dark. You've seen it do application. That's probably the weak part of this whole bike. And we've also seen this cool accessible part here. So you can put your cell phone in there and actually ride around and have it play, so long as it's small enough to fit in that opening. My Galaxy S9, it did fit fine with the commuter case on the outside, but my wife's Galaxy S21, I don't think it would fit. So just keep that all in mind. Of course, you can put it in your pocket and it'd be fine. And Bluetooth range is not as long as you might think. So if I had my Bluetooth playing music and they were riding up and down, they would lose connection constantly.
Yeah.
So anyway, beautiful, very fun. Different color choices. I think they have 3 available. Check the link, you can see. And then they also have one that's a flat seat, which will help a little bit with the bigger kids because you're just gonna sit in a different spot. But keep in mind, sitting low means that your body is down below the handlebars a little bit. Might help. So also, definitely really appreciate you guys watching these videos. The dark videos are not gonna give you a full sense of scale and speed, but we do wanna show how well it performs in the dark. So hopefully we answered all your questions. Check out the links in the video description below, and we'll look forward to you at the next video. It's coming right around the corner on Brian Phillips RC. Stay tuned, coming tomorrow. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We're here with something new and exciting. I don't have my gloves on yet, but I'm about to put them on so we can do this amazing non-radio controlled product that is sort of an awesome experience for kids. So if you were hoping for an airplane, I hate to break your heart, we're gonna do an e-bike. That's right now. Get ready, I'm coming in. So the first step is, if you guys are thinking about buying one of these for your kids, is to get yourself some needle nose pliers. Like this, you can pull all the staples. Ours seem to have a couple of staples already taken out. I don't know if Customs decided they wanted to inspect something, but just remember, these unboxes are mostly for those of you that are pretty serious about buying and you want to know what you're getting, because some of these e-bikes get expensive quick.
Actually, our 6-year-old took those out because they were sticking out and he didn't want somebody to get cut.
Okay. So anyway, not Customs. But anyway, so if you guys are new to the channel, this is Brian Phillips RC. We generally do RC things, like we got an airplane here. We just got done filming that. That was pretty fun. And we have lots of them. We've done thousands of videos. We do helicopters, quads, airplanes, RC cars, RC trucks, and a lot of e-bikes. So if you're brand new to Brian Phillips RC, that's what we do. We also do weed whackers, leaf blowers, chargers,
Tractor
air
things.
trucks, tractor things, farm things,
Cat trees.
cat trees.
Only the one cat tree.
We used to be a little bit more unreserved with our time, let's just say. All right, so here we go. So opening this up, we got our first box of goodies. If you're thinking about buying this and you want to watch this just to get an idea of the value, hey, it's not full. That's very nice.
Okay.
12-inch mini bike user's manual. Okay. Looks like a front fender or back fender. Can't tell. Looks like probably the front. It's got that scoop on it. I bet it's the front, if you look right there.
Okay.
Okay, what else is in the box of goodies? Oh, holy crap. What is all that stuff? Oh, man. We're used to nut and bolt sacks, but that's kind of a big one.
Quite the sack.
Jeez. Okay. And a charger, as well as the simulated gas tank. Ooh, very nice. That does not open. That'd be cool if that opened, actually. Okay, looks like a screw, and a screw. So I'm guessing when this goes on top, those screws are gonna come back around. Okay, so this does come in a couple of different colors. So if you guys are thinking about getting one for your kids, make sure, do us a huge favor and buy it from the links. That will help to support us financially as you make your decision, potentially based on the content in this video. That helps us to make up for the efforts that we put into these videos. All right, cool. So we've got the top exposed now, as you can see. Okay, so normally we'd try to give you a little better angle, but this thing is so much easier to unbox up here. Now it doesn't feel like it's gonna tip, but I'm gonna show you what I normally do on an e-bike. If you haven't ever seen us do it, I like to take not X-Acto knife, a utility knife. I usually cut the sides, okay? So all this crap has to slide down. We do this stuff on our kitchen island because that's what we do, and we have set up our house to basically accommodate this. But if you have a table, you might have a little even better height. You can pull the whole thing out, but I just like this better. It's a little easier on me. So turn that blade so it's running along the inside of your box. See how my cut starts up here and then I turn it? And then you can follow down. See that? Nice clean cut. Don't damage any product inside. And then I usually cut both sides. You could also pull staples, but we found that that works terribly. And it's a little easier to start from the top in our experience. Again, these are usually pretty stout boxes, okay? And if you're concerned, like if it comes damaged really bad, don't cut it. Try to take it out the other way. That's the only time I'd suggest that, in case you would have to, for some reason, pack it back up and, you know, like refuse the delivery or something from UPS or FedEx screwed up and damaged it really bad, okay? All right, so as you can see, now you can get to it. And the reason we started doing that is because some of these bikes are like over 100 pounds. This one's not. That is sweet looking, by the way.
That's cool.
Holy cow, that is awesome. Wow, that tire is about getting cut by this. Show the people right there. That tire is not on the spokes, by the way. It's not installed yet, but look how tight that is. Oh. Jeez. And that's one of the things we do on this channel is we actually will vet the packaging. And I know some of you guys are gonna think it comes across as me complaining. I'm just thinking from a perspective, hey, I just spent like hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a toy for my kid. And I wanna know that when I spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a toy for my kid, that it's gonna come good. And so we try to show that stuff, not necessarily to beat up the manufacturers that are trying to do a good job, but more to beat up on the manufacturers that don't care and will do a terrible job knowing that you're gonna live with it, okay? All right, so it stands up nicely, have no problems here. Okay, everything feels pretty stout. They actually have a good stand on it. That's nice. We don't always get that. And what you can notice immediately about this packaging is we have a bottom piece, and I'm gonna slide this to the edge of the counter here, camera crew, and I'm gonna just tip this down. Okay, show the people what I just did. That gives you access to it, but I wanna be careful it doesn't fall. Okay, this is the handlebar. So this has kind of got that mounting point up here, okay? And this quality control pass is in a very ugly spot. I wish I wouldn't have put that there. And then you can see this fuel tank is gonna snap on, it looks like. And then there's also a screw here so this can slide forward and back just a little bit. Seat feels like kind of like a cheap vinyl, but it's got good cushioning under it. It looks way nicer than the other e-bike, dirt bike we have. And the charger port, I love these simulated cylinders, looks so cool. So I'm gonna try to untangle this, and it feels like a zip tie is holding it. So what I'm gonna do is, now that we have, oh, by the way, this says it is 41 pounds. That's the gross weight of the package and product, okay? So once you get it out of the package, it's gonna be less. And X-Acto knife, provided by me. Side cutters, provided by me. Obviously the amazing gloves. I've got these side cutters provided, or excuse me, needle nose pliers provided by me. You could probably do it with side cutters if you don't have that handy, okay? Side cutters, of course, being very helpful and practical for this next step, okay? You're gonna have to cut zip ties. So I'm gonna start here. We'll just show you all the steps involved. And if you get to a point where you're like, you know, hey, Brian, I'm really glad you did this video because I didn't have those tools, which I kind of doubt you're not gonna have side cutters, but if you don't, at least you know, okay? This light, we'll just grab that off of there. Beautiful light.
Cool.
Looks like one of the nicest lights we have on any of our e-bikes,
Yeah.
let alone being a kid's bike. Kind of makes me jealous. All right, so I've got that loose. We've got our brake. Ooh, yeah, that's awesome. That rear brake, really tight. I love tight brakes. They're never tight like that. Okay, except for on the most expensive e-bikes. Okay, and I'm just kind of doing this so you guys can get a shot of it. I'm not, you could do it 5 different easier ways, but you're not necessarily filming it. Okay, now, my goal is to get this handlebar installed before we take those blocks off. And they have wrapped it really nicely, actually. This is surprisingly good packaging. And that's because of the chrome finish, okay, folks? Now, they do offer this in a matte black finish, too. And we kind of debated. I thought the black looked sweet, but we also thought this might show a little better on camera for you guys watching. And then also, we didn't know if the black would get really hot to the touch and potentially burn our kids' hands and legs and things. So, also, I want to show this real quick. There may water in pipe when you first use it. The steam function will be tested by one before pack. Okay.
Oh.
This makes smoke, simulated smoke and steam. That is so cool. I forgot about that feature. And don't be surprised when you get these Chinese things. Designed in the USA, globally sourced. Okay, also known as made in China.
Right.
Okay. If that's a deal breaker for you, don't buy any e-bike ever.
Right. I do think there are options that don't include the smoke. There's like 2 different levels.
Oh, but come back around. I wanted to show this other thing. You left too quick. See this? This is where you put the stuff. Haha. So you put water in there. Yeah, there's water in there. What they mean is it might be wet because they tested before delivery. Okay, so if you open this, that's your port where you put your water in there. Okay? And it just makes steam, guys. It's not like it's gonna be something dangerous or anything.
Make sure there's water in the container when you use the steam function. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Then this note, I wonder if that note could be pulled off.
And it's on the other side too.
Take it off. Take it off. Oh, yes, even with gloves. Because I don't want that ugly sticker on this chrome pipe.
Yeah.
I don't need no stickers on my pipes. That is so sweet. I'm really excited about this. I didn't know what to think, but man, it looks so good. Okay, so next thing we gotta do is we gotta get this mounted, okay? So obviously we're gonna have to go through that bag of goodies. And then there's definitely, this thing is gonna plug in up here. There's 2 or 3 plugs. It looks like 2 plugs. And one of them is gonna go to the light itself. One of them is gonna go here, and I don't know which one's which. So we're just gonna leave those out of the way. And because this is chrome, you wanna be super careful not to cut things free until you have to, okay? And if you cut them free early and you regret your decision of cutting something free, it's really hard if you're doing it alone. So my suggestion is, and this is true for all the e-bikes we've done in the past, get somebody to give you a set of hands. Second set of hands makes a big difference when you're building an e-bike. They're not hard to build, it's just a lot of little steps. And if you look here, we actually have a bag of a lot of components. So let's open these up real quick. Okay, so what do we have here? We have what looks like some handlebar adapters. That's kind of weird.
Pegs?
Oh, pegs. Oh, that's totally what that is. Ah, look, right here, pegs. We needed pegs for another bike, dang. Okay, I was just thinking, like, where do you put your feet? You put them on the pegs. This is so cool, guys. Oh, yes. A little rubber cover. I can keep that forever.
Thanks, China.
So, guys, if you're new to Brian Phillips RC, the inside joke that just occurred is a normal thing. Why is this zip tie here? That zip tie don't look like it's holding anything.
It does not.
That zip tie don't look like it's holding anything. Nope, it is. Don't cut them. The white zip ties there are.
Yeah, I see it on this side now.
Okay, folks, look what's happening. Tightening this on. Just keep in mind something. That's a lot of threads, but it's your kid. So, double check.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to point out the fact that these are long and they're aluminum and they appear to be painted black. So that paint's going to wear and tear. They're made of metal. Listen, guys, they're metal, okay? But they're aluminum. And so they are very strong, but they are aluminum, okay?
They're going to be hot on his bare feet.
I think so too, but truth is, you know, I'm pretty sure that they're going to tell you bare feet is not a good idea on this from a safety apparatus standpoint. Oh, by the way, and what I was saying is, if you're new to Brian Phillips Arson, you don't know kind of, how I save everything. Well, things like this I will save, and I will use, and the camera crew, my wife, and wife of many, many years actually, is gonna say, you'll never use that thing, and guess what? I will prove her wrong every single time.
No, if that was true, we wouldn't have a basement full of stuff you're saving.
Listen, different argument.
Yet.
Okay, so let's look here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 different styles, okay? We've got Loctite, also known as probably paint. Okay, we got 3 of those, 4 of those, 2 of these smaller ones, and we'll put those in the groove. What the heck? Oh, that's a kickstand. Cool. Okay. Kickstand. Nice. Oh, and if you guys weren't sure why I wear gloves all the time, it's because I'm a clean freak. And these things sometimes have a coating of oil for both storage and longevity in case they like fall off the container and float away. And then they go to the desert island, they recover them, put them back in another container. That's just a joke, guys. But seriously, it's a good joke though. All right, so here we go. This is where you're gonna mount that. Boom. So it looks like they evidently had 2 different sizes because they're like, what the heck is that all about? Okay, and I noticed that they do include 2 Allen wrench keys, which is nice. So you've got the big one and the small one. So you can stick those in any holes that are appropriate. Make sure you get permission first if you're not sure. See this? Look at that. There you go. All right, good. We just have to, give those disclaimers because we're on a Google-owned platform. All right, so here we go. So slide this through. Woo! By the way, if you're a kid looking to buy this and your parents are interested in spending lots of money on you because they love you very, very much, then just let them know to watch this video. Figure out some way to get it into their recommended suggestions. That went under our stove. What the heck? Oh, God was punishing me for that last remark about making sure we ended up in the children's parents' recommendations. Just kidding, kids. The kids that are watching this are not kids. We know the analytics. It's usually adults. Because kids are like, hey, I want to watch a 30-second movie, not a 45-minute video of some guy doing all the things that I'm going to have to do later. Because kids don't build these things, adults do. All right, I'm going to get this thing. We'll be right back. Okay, 3 hours later. Just kidding. It was like 30 seconds. I used this thing to hook it. It was right on the edge. Okay, so let's see if this goes. And you may notice that a very dedicated absence to instruction manuals on this channel. It's not like we never read them. We just don't always read them. And it's only led to a few injury-laden accidents. Sorry, brain injury. I can't talk about that today, No,
we can't. Not this.
Not on this one. We'll do it on another one. Okay, so that's tightened. This one's going to be tightened. And here's the thing, guys. If you don't understand a little bit about mechanics, then you might really appreciate a video like this. If you know how to put together Legos and simple machines, then you'll be fine without watching a video like this. We do this for the people that need a little bit of help, and we never want to talk down to our audience that wants some help. Because truth is, sometimes it's not so much about help, it's just you want to know how terrible it's going to be before you commit yourself to some really complex project. And believe me, some of these e-bikes are terrible to build.
Well, and the first time we got an e-bike, we're like, how does a bike come from China? Like, what are you gonna have to do?
I know, like, are you gonna have to like design it yourself?
Yeah.
Like designed in America?
Yeah. So if you've never bought a bike online.
Look at this, guys. This is how this is gonna go, okay? There's gonna be a top and a bottom, and then you're gonna set the angle of the dangle. Probably something like that, okay? So look, how do you know which one's the top and which one's the bottom? Okay, how do you know?
Probably not that one.
You just put it together, guys. It's not rocket science. Unless it's a rocket ship, and then it is rocket science. Which, we haven't started doing rockets yet, but we are totally...
so cool.
We're gonna totally do rockets on this channel.
If you're a rocket manufacturer.
Yeah, seriously, hit us up, Estes. And if you guys don't know that already about us, what we do is we work with manufacturers, hobby shops, mom and pop shops, one-man shows that have stuff that they're trying to sell online, and they know who our audience is, and so they'll like hit us up and say, hey, do you want to review this thing? And we're like, yeah, but we're not sure our audience is going to put up with that particular thing right now. We might have to work into it a little bit. Seriously, once you get a YouTube channel and you've got any traction and you've got like 5 subscribers and they start asking you to do e-bikes.
Yep.
We've been ignoring them for many, many, many centuries, but I love e-bikes. The first time I did an e-bike, I'm just gonna tell you, how did we figure out we liked e-bikes? We went to a bike shop because, well, I can't tell you the whole story because it involves too many felonies. But the truth is, I had a bike that I lent to my brother, and I ended up with not my bike. I ended up with somebody else's bike.
A million years ago.
I don't know how that happened. But anyway, I had a nice bike. This is back when you could get a bike, and it was called Schwinn, and it wasn't a Target brand. This is back when they were expensive, and it was an awesome bike, and it was like my favorite bike in my entire life that I ever had. Anyway, long story short, I ended up giving it to my brother like an idiot. My brother returns not that bike to me. And I'm like, really, where'd you get this? And then that bike went in the garbage can eventually, so to save the prison time. And anyway, I ended up going to some Chinese manufacturer of cheap bikes, and it was just terrible. It fit my body terrible. It made me uncomfortable every time I rode. And eventually I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I'm a cheapskate, but I'm not that big a cheapskate. And we went to a bike shop, and I rode on an e-bike for the first time. And it was like, what the heck was that? And I pedaled, and the power assist kicked in, and I felt like I was Arnold Schwarzenegger riding up, you know, like that squiggly road in San Francisco trying to chase Nancy Pelosi. It was amazing. And it was awesome. So I said, we got to do this. We got to do this, guys. Okay, now I'm just going to talk to you about something real quick. I've tightened these bolts, not all the way, not totally tight, but I think this angle's probably about right. Now, there is adjustability. I don't want to warn you about one safety thing since I just came off the top of that amazing story. This thing needs to be tight. Remember, you're a strong adult. A kid's not going to be as strong, but if this breaks free and slips, your kid's going to break their fall roughly, and it's not going to be very fun. So please do pay special attention. Look at the gap. Look at the gap. Do you see the gap? I want to teach you something if you don't already know this. If you're watching this video, there's a good chance you don't know this, okay? That gap should be about the same size as that gap. That means you're getting even purchase on front and back, okay? So I'm just going to go like heck. And these are solid metal, and these are solid metal, and they're chromed, and this is solid metal. No, it's hollow metal. And so what's gonna happen is you are gonna literally bite a tube that's hollow, and you're gonna deflect that tube with the top and bottom. Excuse me. And so that's what you're gonna do. It's very, very easy, but I'm gonna warn you. I have learned my lesson, literally. That's where this scar came from. I didn't tighten them enough on a bike. And then I crashed that bike, and it hurt. And I felt like an idiot, and I ruined a perfectly good hat. I didn't have a helmet on, and I just about ruined one of my favorite coats. And it was just like totally unnecessary because I was being stupid. I said, I'm just gonna use the provided tools. And I made some remark about how am I gonna know the Newton meters? Well, I actually do have a torque meter. So you can get a bicycle torque meter, and it's gonna basically be like a small torque wrench. And it looks just like a regular socket set. And it'll have an electronic torque meter, and you can torque them. I'm not gonna go to that extent. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you with just the layman's tools. This is like a $5 tool, okay? It's a Crescent wrench, no sizable wrench, because Crescent's a brand name. Look what I'm doing, guys. I put this on here. You don't have to use this type of tool, but I happen to have a hole in the bottom. You can bite it with this tool, opposite direction of travel. See, we're on a rib. See, we're on a ridge. So I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna go like this. Now look, I can torque this. I can get more mechanical advantage. Very, very easy way to do that. You could use a box end wrench. You can use other tools, whatever you got lying around. But the point is, if you're watching this video for help, and you don't already know that, again, I'm telling you, it's very hard. We have an audience. We're not sure who you are. We don't know how much you know, but I do want to teach you that trick. If you didn't already know that trick, throw it in the comments below. We love to teach people new things on this channel, and I have been doing industrial installations for 18 years in a few months. So I have been installing things professionally for years, machinery, integration work. I write software. I work with machines. I write code. I do a lot of weird things as part of my career, my day job. My day job is not putting together e-bikes, but that's just something I do for fun because I love these things, and they are really fun, guys. Okay, so I've now provided another tool that didn't come in the kit that I used. You don't need it, but you need it, okay? If you don't use that, find something that can lengthen this tube. You know, you could actually, seriously, if you haven't done this yet, I'm gonna just show you another trick, okay? This is a legitimate way you can do this, so that I'm going through the trouble to show this. If you are new to the hobby and you maybe don't have a lot of tools, and you're not a bicycler and you don't got a bunch of bicycle tools, because bicycle tools generally will get you what you need. Don't use the threaded end, use the non-threaded end. Watch this, okay? This is gonna lengthen your handle. Get in there so you get enough purchase, and watch this, okay? You can torque that down, okay? So that way you don't have to have another tool. My goal in doing this tight and beyond tightness that this can provide is that you're usually gonna build the safety margins higher, okay? You don't want this handlebar to slip. You don't want your kid to get injured, and they won't get injured unless they do something stupid, which they're kids, so plan on it.
Or you need to do that back one a little bit more if we're looking at again.
True,
But
thank
you can
you.
use your other tool.
I'm gonna use this tool.
Okay.
Because I wanna show the people that it works. It is a little bit less effective, but you're right, I'll just go just a hair more. Good catch, camera crew.
Yep.
So by the way, if you don't know anything about the camera crew is my wife. We've been married for almost 2 decades because we're old. We're getting older. And she puts up with me all the time. Not just when we're filming, it's a miracle. Okay, so many, many moons of putting up with Brian Phillips from Brian Phillips RC. Okay, all right, continuing on, we've got this thing. That's gonna be the shaft. You have to stick the shaft where this wheel is gonna be mounted, okay? We also have this. We use that for
The kickstand.
the kickstand. So I'm gonna lay these over here in my pile of goodies. I don't know why I didn't throw that in the garbage. And then we have these two things. These are gonna be box end wrenches, 16 millimeters. They provide 2, they're very thin. That's gonna be handy to play with your jam nuts with. Wow, that's a very loose bite. That's a perfect bite. Okay, so evidently this assembly is one that I'm not willing to guess on, because if you look at that, that's gonna be our next move, almost certainly. And I'm gonna break open the manual so that we don't skip steps and do this in the wrong order. We've already done the major things. Okay, 6 years plus old. Okay, it's actually a pretty good manual. So earlier we had said we avoid these manuals like the plague or something stupid like that. While that may be stupid, it is true. The reason we avoid them like the plague is because generally the instruction manuals on these Chinese-made products are very useless.
Wait, do we have more hardware?
It says 2 times.
For the fender hardware. We haven't put on the fender yet, and we don't have any more hardware.
It's already here,
Okay.
I'm assuming.
Okay.
Oh, actually, you know what we can do? Let's go ahead and pull this off. No, the fender hardware, that's a good question. Let's go ahead and pull this stuff out. It's taped on. Camera crew brings up a good point. Yeah, I don't want to take that out yet. It's protecting the finish.
Yeah.
Because I gotta wait till I do the wheel.
Okay, so we're trying to find the wheel thing though, right?
Yeah. What the heck is this all about? Hold on.
What?
What is this?
Always wear a helmet, never ride on public roads. Never
Don't use beer and drugs. Kids, no drugs, no beer, like Donald Trump says. But he does say that.
It's a big problem.
Yeah.
Okay, here, is this what you wanted to see for your nuts?
I guess. Tighten the nuts on. Oh, we already did this. Look at this. This is a pretty good instruction manual.
Look, here's the thing.
Right.
I'm concerned that we don't have nuts for that.
Well, I think they're probably mounted somewhere. We just don't see them. What the heck? Hold on a sec.
That's
Look,
the rear.
That's already mounted. Nice. I hate putting those things on. But I just don't think, oh, they're right there, Megan. Jeez. Camera crew, come on, man. They're right here.
But no,
Megan, they're in the shaft. Shaft.
not how the instruction manual looks.
Well, whatever. They're in there already.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So there is, evidently they show an integral washer in this assembly, but really what you're seeing, they have simplified here, okay, folks? See this? They show what looks like a washer embedded. It's not. They've designed it slightly different.
Piece.
Okay, no problem. Okay, and by the way, I gotta say, you know, like in terms of finish, looks, this plastic is maybe not what I was hoping for. It's maybe a little bit lackluster because you got this dead, kind of unpolished look, and then you've got this more polished look. If you don't know how to buff, you could buff this to be more shiny. Shiny. This one here, see how it's unshiny? Show them that. That's shiny, okay? If you use a buffer, you can make these things shine. Yes, I used to detail cars professionally. It was a thing I did.
You should do that again to my car.
Yeah, right. Okay, so we need to tighten. That's one of the steps. Thank you for that instruction. Oh, please release the screws or bolts before adjusting the handlebars. Of course. How would you adjust them otherwise? Okay, cool. So we already did that. Guys, look at this. This instruction manual. Jeez, we have done everything.
Like
this is one of the best instruction manuals we've ever seen. Okay, so now that we've expounded on things that don't need expounding, we're very good at that. I need to figure out a way to make this not fall, okay? So my next move is to literally just kind of move stuff out of the way. I'm gonna slide this over onto the cardboard. You also notice we're working off the cardboard. That's intentional because then if the thing falls, it's less likely to damage stuff because these things, they don't look like much, but I'll tell you what, they're built pretty stout, okay? Okay, good. So pull that. Let's throw this out of the way. And what I need to do now is I need to provide a way for this to not fall. Now the light is loose, okay? So the light here has got a singular Phillips mount, okay? We got these wires here, so I just kind of want this out of the way. And then what I need to do is I need to lift this, okay? That thing is gonna wanna fall out and that's fine, okay? You see how this is not supported in any way, okay? See, I'm having to hold this and it's twisting and all that stuff. This is where you can get into trouble if you don't have a second set of hands, okay? Lay this down. See what I'm talking about? Now I can lay this down without gouging into my countertop, which is granite, so hopefully it doesn't gouge granite. Wow, this is a 12.5 by 3 inch nylon, inflate to 35 PSI. So I was thinking this was gonna be like a foam tire. This is a legit pneumatic tire. Pneumatic tires are way better, guys. They're so much softer. They make a ride a lot better. And then we have a bearing, pressed bearing on either side of the wheel, which appears to be plastic? What the heck? It's a plastic wheel. That's so weird. That is really weird. I mean, it looks fine, so I don't have a problem with it. But I'm trying to see which direction that would go. Is it the same? Nope. Okay, theirs are going this way. See the swirl effect?
Oh.
So it's gonna go like this. Woo! Unless you mount it like that, and then it's gonna go like this. I'm gonna put mine that way. All right, so let's talk about this. That needs to stand up, so I'm gonna leave it in the box. Then I'm gonna get the tools. The instructions are not super clear on this step, okay? So I'm going to go back to them. We have to install this shaft. I don't know what these things are. I do know what these are, and I do know what this is. I do know what this is. I do know what this is, but I don't know what that is. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take off one end, okay, folks? And I'm gonna slide this off. I'm gonna lay this boom, 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 and then I'm gonna take this off. I think what's gonna happen, it's gonna be pretty simple. I'm gonna leave the other side of the assembly on. Why did I not show this on an exploded view diagram?
Align the inner bearing sleeve before installing wheel. Is that
you see that?
Inner bearing sleeve?
Must be. Okay, I'm gonna leave this side all assembled, and we're just gonna slide this. This is gonna be allowed to slide in there. I don't know if that fits in there or not. Nope, it doesn't pass through the hole, so I'm wondering if, oh, you gotta take all this crap off, because then the nut goes on here. Ooh, see that recess there? See, there's a portion of it that's not threaded. Nah, I don't know yet. Let's try sliding this through. I think I'm doing this wrong, guys, so don't mark your words yet. I think that's gonna go there. And then that nut's gonna set it into position, okay? I can undo this other side, okay? Ooh, I'm just realizing I took this off from the other side. So I'm gonna just slide that through. Leave that on, slide this in. That's gotta be the way it goes. Because what that's gonna do, I don't know why they have that in there, actually. It's probably just to position everything. See, because then you can make an assembly that's removable then. Okay, China, if you're listening, okay? Next time, put this assembly together so it's right, because your drawing sucks. I don't even see the drawing. It's like one of the most critical things and you can't even see. Again, come back to, that's why we don't show instructions.
Right.
Okay, guys, look. Inner washer, that's over here. This is the thing that's gonna key everything in. It's not really necessary. This isn't a drive wheel. And then the acorn nut. Okay, so you see what's going on here. If I were to tighten these nuts, then this would hang on and this would be a shaft that's allowed to spin. Spin the wheel with this fixed. Spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, okay? So as you tighten this, that is not going to bridge into the middle portion of the moving part of the wash of the bearing. So you see this pressed bearing? This is plastic. It's pressed on either side. And then inside there's ball bearings and grease. okay? So you only want to touch that inside. This nut would contact the same space, so it seems unnecessary to me, but that's fine. Now, what I can do is, if you look, where did I put those wrenches?
Oh, they're over here.
Right there they are. Okay, so this is not the same size. They give you no means to tighten that. That's weird, because these are both 16 millimeters,
I wonder
okay?
if that's a mistake.
I don't know, but I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and use my $5 provisional tool. Now, let's talk about this for a sec. Hey, why are you changing the page?
Because I wanted to.
I don't want that changed. So look, guys, look at this. I'm gonna put this on here. Can you tell we're married? Okay, I have no way to torque that without a second one, okay? So, because there's no way to torque it, I want this here. I'm gonna lift this up and stick it into the slot. Why would I do that? Because I wanna see if it fits, because there might be a bite that's provided by the yoke, okay? So I'm just gonna lift this up, and it would be, I do have my kickstand down, just so you guys know. And the other thing you can do, this is a trick of the day that usually works, but doesn't always. And get that on the ground so it's out of the way. I'm gonna have the camera crew just spot me. I'm gonna lay the tire in this, and then this is gonna have a way of staying vertical.
Okay.
Okay? That way it doesn't fall on me as easy.
Okay.
Okay? You guys see what I just did there? That keeps it from tipping. I am gonna put the kickstand up so it doesn't break if it falls. All right, I want these things to go forward. Now I'm gonna lift this up so I can lift it without it falling. And I'm gonna stick that on. Okay. So now it's wanting to tip, but we're okay. Did you move that cardboard?
Can I move it?
No, I want it to be back where it was. It shifted on me. I don't know if I did that or what.
Yeah, the whole thing just pushed.
Okay, so you guys come over here and look at this with me. Look here. You see that? Mm-hmm. See what I'm seeing? This is the nut we were just talking about and discussing, okay? When we tighten this yoke can bend, okay? When you depress that nut over there, you can actually squeeze this in. This isn't spring loaded, it's just a fixed piece, okay? Right? There's no springs on there. So just keep that in mind. So as you tighten, it's gonna spring tight. And what we should have is we should have a washer in here, shouldn't we? Totally. Why do they not show that on the instructions? That is lame. Because this definitely goes on the outside, this goes on the inside. Okay, learning things together, guys. Why do you keep moving away from here? I need the other washer. And to be honest with you guys, if you haven't picked up on it, this is a frustrating part of these assemblies. Come to this side, please. You see, I'm having to control this bike so it doesn't tip. Even with that foam, it's still kind of unsure of itself. Okay, now we have the inner assembly built. All right, so I am satisfied with that as I need to be, okay? Then I'm gonna take, and the camera crew and I will just be real careful not to let this tip over. Don't hold it, just let go. Just be ready to spot it if it falls, okay? See, we've got, this is what we have left right here. These are gonna go on the outside. So if you take this, it's got a keyed point on it. Again, this is more for like a drive assembly, so I don't know why they even have that here, but I'm gonna put that on. Then this goes, okay? And that pushes in, looks very good, looks clean, and then this goes in. It goes vertical. Can you come around the other side, please, so they can see? See this? If this was down here, it would sit flush, but it's gonna be allowed to slip. So again, I don't even understand why they did that. This doesn't have a drive assembly. That is designed to trap an octagonal shaft, okay? Or a flat that has a flat milled on one side. And then that keeps that from rotating, okay? We don't need that on this bike because this is not a driven wheel. That's a driven wheel. So you need that type of assembly back there, but you don't up here. So I'm not really sure why they did that. Now, again, I'm not gonna cheat. I'm gonna use the provided tool. And what you do is you take one on each side and just hold them opposite each other and just turn until you're satisfied, okay? That should kind of keep the height and distance the same. I am now going to take a second and I'm gonna pull this out because it's not quite sitting level. It's very annoying. Keep that handlebar from spinning. Don't change its position, just be prepared. Foam's on either side in case it tips. Now, the reason I did that is because as this rolls, I would make sure that I'm fully seated in that socket, okay? Now it's seated in that socket. Yeah, see, I can turn one side and it actually doesn't spin the other side. That's really unexpected. If you come over here, you could show them what I'm talking about. Okay, show the other side. Watch as I tighten, look at the other side. It spins, but only a little teeny bit, okay? So now that I have that started, I can come over here. Yep, it's not moving the other side, unexpectedly. Ah, now it's starting to turn. That makes sense, and the way I'm gonna avoid that is I am gonna go ahead, now that I've got it started, we have enough purchase on that yoke has been pulled in, okay, to make a pinch point here. Now I can torque both sides, okay? So remember, you just go in opposite one another. Whoops, that's loosening. That's kind of confusing for me, okay? Now, again, I'm just gonna talk about something real quick to make sure I don't give you bad advice. Look at this. This right there is being kind of bent out. This one here is more exaggerated. You see how it's bent out a little bit? Hard to get the camera because the phone is wide. You guys see this, how it's pointed out at an angle? Again, I would care if this is a driven wheel, but all we're doing is we're sandwiching the assembly together. It looks to me like that washer, it would have been nice to have another washer here, okay? And so my concern is, again, they've done a piss poor job on this of showing exactly where that assembly goes, because we did put that little shaft thing, that spacer, all the way in. And then we put the nut in, and that's the way we did it. But they don't show that sinking into the opening right here. And this drawing is so ambiguous, you can't tell what you're seeing. Show them a really close up. You want to use your other hand?
You're too close.
Okay, you guys see what I'm talking about? It's like, what is going on?
They don't show that extra washer, like, at all.
The one place on this bike that I have ambiguity, I want to remove. But I'm going to tell you this, if you didn't have those bushings in there, that little spacer, look what happened to your yoke. Because we already pulled that yoke in quite a bit. So I would say, would have been nice to have a little better clarity there. But yeah, as I loosen it, it immediately opens the yoke. So that's going to act as a bit of a lock washer, so that's good. Okay, so now I'm just torquing this. Now, if you are not strong, get somebody that's stronger than you to do this. Because this is a safety issue too. I don't want that thing slipping, and it sucks to use these little thin ones. I'd like to be able to do this. I'm gonna hold the handlebar for extra leverage. Oh yeah, now I can really get in there and bite it. Okay, hold the handlebar, put it up against my belly. Remember, this is the type of thing that as a parent, you do need to occasionally just check on, make sure that they're not slipping. And if you see something weird, just adjust it. We have had a handful of kids' e-bike style things, and we've had good luck with them, not having a lot of problems. But we had one that had a screw that fell out of this thing. We had to find it on the driveway. Our kid brought it to us and said, hey, I found this. And I said, oh, that's kind of scary. We ended up taking the time, looking around, eventually looked up into this tube, and there was a screw. Now, this one doesn't have anything in there, but there is a hole in the bottom. So that's good. It'll drain the moisture if there would be moisture get up inside of there, okay? So just remember, as a parent, or if you're buying this for a friend or something like that, you just got to look over stuff once in a while, after all, especially the stuff you've assembled. Because surprisingly, the stuff that comes from the factories usually doesn't give us a lot of problems, but that was a factory tightened piece. In fact, we weren't even supposed to have to tighten it, but it came out. We caught it because our kid was paying attention, and it was an easy fix. Okay, so let's talk about where we are. We got a couple things that need to be connected up here. We got to get that light assembled. I don't know, that looks pretty sweet without the front fender. It's sort of torn a little bit right now. Because obviously this is going to go on top, and then this is going to go right here. But I almost wonder if it looks better open. It's going to stop stuff from splashing up there, though. So that's where that goes. Let's just look at that for a sec. Do I like it better with it? I don't know. I'm torn. Obviously, you don't have to put it on, but let's just go ahead and put it on because that's what people are going to be potentially buying. Okay, so this Allen tool is going to be what we use to loosen these. Okay, so we're just gonna undo all four. We might actually pause. I'm gonna just loosen these out. We'll come right back to show you putting them back in. All right, so we undid the 4 screws. There was 2 on each side, and then this thing just needs to slide through. It's pretty easy. Once you get it in there, there is a little bit of a slop up and down depending on where you want this fender to fit, okay? So I'm just gonna push in and hold as I slide it and get it started. Remember, if you're standing in front of the bike, you're gonna run the screw backwards, so it's a little awkward. Okay, so same thing here. And we took a minute to take out the garbage and stuff like that. I would say the general build quality on this thing looks pretty good. One thing too, I just want to point out, this is like a aluminized tube, and then this is going to be like steel that's painted with like a silver paint. So just keep in mind, if you got like a chrome paint or something like that, you may have to touch stuff up over time as the kids destroy them. And this is just plastic with like a chrome finish on it and a black paint job, which is pretty cool. It looks like a real motor that's got a cast motor. So the cylinders, and then there are 2 buttons. So this is the exhaust button that turns on the smoke, and then there's music, or not music, but some sort of like an autonomous noise, sounds like an engine. So pretty exciting. So also not provided in the kit, which is sort of strange. We always get screwdrivers with everything, but we didn't get a screwdriver on this. So I'm gonna put my light straight up before I forget. And I'm gonna tighten this screw. I don't know if I want it up or down, or if I wanna try to flip this into some sort of an orientation like that. Obviously that looks kind of weird, and I don't think that's the way that it's intended to be. It's supposed to be up like this, and then there's these ridges here that allow for some tension once you start torquing this down. So I'm gonna just torque this down here. Okay, good. And then I'm gonna take this tool and I will set the height. See how this moves up and down? I'm gonna just go to the maximum clearance in case the kids pick up like a small stone or something like that. I don't want it to bind the wheel and cause them to be ejected off the bike. I don't think it's strong enough to do that, by the way, because it's plastic, it's just gonna give. So I'm gonna torque the top. I'm gonna come over here, hold it to the top of the slotted hole, and then I'm gonna torque the top. Okay, pretty easy stuff. Again, this is just kind of like a superficial guard. It's not really doing anything super critical. And if you don't like the way it looks, if you wanted to not have that fender, you could hypothetically leave it off, but just keep in mind you don't want to spray a bunch of water onto that, because there will eventually come a time that the water causes a problem. This is, after all, an e-bike, so just do your best to try to keep it dry. Okay, except for where you're supposed to put moisture in it. Okay, we got a little bit of extra packaging we missed there. Okay, so those are all torqued down, it's plenty tight. Now, while we're doing this real quick, let's look. The light doesn't have anything that has to be plugged in, but then this thing here is for something. I don't know what it is, okay? So I'm just kind of looking at the cabling. This one here is very obviously going to go, oh, there we go. So there's 2 connection points. One's gonna be throttle, one's gonna be the light or horn feedback, something like that. So there's a key on there. Those pins are very small. You can break them. You see my index finger is tapping the top? That's the key. Line up the keys, make sure they're lined up, and then press. If you're not sure, go very, 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 very gentle on pressure until you get alignment, okay? Then the second one is right here. This one here is keyed as well, but they're bigger pins. You're not gonna have as hard a time. So I kind of pointed it toward the camera crew, and I'm just gonna turn the bottom until we get purchase. Now it's in. Now I'm gonna spin lock this, and then I'm gonna go to the point where I don't have this connector spinning. So I'm gonna reach around the tube, okay? So that's torqued down. And we got good purchase there. We can just kind of push that down where it looks nice. And I don't know if we're gonna have to twisty tie this or lock this in here with a zip tie or anything, but you always wanna check. See how that, if you tied that tight there, it would prevent the action. So leave it loose. Make sure you have plenty of play. And if you decide to tie it to a spot where it's gonna be protecting the cabling on both directions. So you could tie it there if you wanted. I'm not gonna say that you need to. And by the way, if you're not the type of person that has a lot of zip ties, you can salvage the zip ties by cutting, like this zip tie. Here's another example. You can cut right here, okay? If you have scissors, not side cutters, just be careful you don't hurt yourself. Cut it, and then you'll have a reusable zip tie. You just pull the dead part through, throw it in the garbage can. Okay, I'm happy with that though. I don't think we're gonna actually do anything more with that. So let's go ahead and finish getting our packaging off of here. It's been a pretty easy build, folks. We've done a lot of these e-bikes. Some of them are way worse than this. This has been pretty easy, especially the kids' bikes are usually pretty easy. We've done a quad, we've done another little dirt bike, and I tell you what, the kids love them.
They do.
come around here. See this? We already kind of did that on the other side. I can't remember if I did that when we were paused. Okay, and then this, there might be water in there. Camera crew, if you want to peel that off, please. You got access to your fingernails. So I guess what I'm getting at is if you're looking for something that's reasonably easy to build, this is going to do it. I don't think it's a hard build by any means. If you have really minimal mechanical skills, you should have no problem putting this together. And a second set of hands makes a big difference. And this is relatively heavy. So just remember, if it's like 40 something odd pounds, I mean, I'll have no problem moving that. But if you're alone and you think that that might be an issue, just be careful. Don't build it too high up. Looks so sweet. Okay, so now the rest of the build is going to go something like, was that magnets? Huh, that's sweet.
Whoa.
It's just magnets. You got like a storage. I don't know if I trust it at all. Okay, so that is pretty sweet. And to be honest with you, that's cool because guess what you can put in there?
Your charger. Oh.
Okay. That is a deadly amazing feature. Let's check it. Let's check it. See if it works. Just pull this toward me. Now, good luck getting your kid to do this. But oh, that is pretty awesome,
really
guys.
nice.
We've seen some sashes and different things on these e-bikes that we've reviewed in the past, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Okay, also add to the list of tools that you need. This happens to be a number 2. If you had some other Chinese tip, like like a cheap Phillips screwdriver that's even smaller, you could probably get away with it. But just keeping in mind, I have all the tools I need. If you're doing any bicycling, you're probably gonna have a handful of different hand tools. Should be no big deal. All right, so let's talk about charging real quick now that we have figured out that the charger fits in there. That's pretty awesome. And just running through, scanning through, we'll show you the rest of the manual real quick in case you guys don't want to read your manual like a normal person. A normal person would not want to read the manual, just to clarify. Okay.
I would read the manual.
Charge your battery. Okay. Okay, warnings. Okay, so no flip-flops. We'll immediately break that rule. We'll immediately break that rule. I have no clue what that is. So if you have a leather pilot hat, that's the way you need to use it. Okay.
On and off for 2 seconds.
Okay. And then right here, low is 5, mid is 8, and max is 10. Very cool. You have to load some water in there. You've got the fart button there. Use your bendy finger. Okay. And there you go. There's your differences. Okay, and then there is an app. Ooh, play your music, customize LED lights, 3 modes. Pretty cool. Follow that QR code. You can just scan that on your computer screen or your TV or your cell phone, okay? Now also guys, if you want to help support Brian Phillips RC and what we do on this channel, keep in mind it's not just me. We have 4 kids downstairs that are waiting in the dungeon.
With their snacks and tablets.
Snacks and tablets and freezers full of ice cream and multiple TVs and video games and everything that you could want as a kid. But anyway, they don't get to be here, so it's very challenging on them. But they're gonna be happy when they come up and see this because they never really know exactly what we're doing until it shows up. And so we're super excited. I know our youngest is gonna love this, and our second is probably gonna maybe be able to do it because I think Hannah would love this too.
Yeah, she might be able to.
We weren't sure what color to get because we wanted to kind of make it work for all the different kids. Let's talk about charging real quick too. Also, our bigger kids do fall within the weight limit on this, correct?
I believe so.
So we have an outlet under here. I'm not gonna necessarily bore you with it, but let's go ahead and show them anyway. Plugging it into the outlet, it's ambidextrous. It's got a green light. My guess is that's gonna go to a red condition. So normally most of you are gonna be charging in your living room or on top of your kitchen counter, but then once you plug it in, it goes to a red condition.
It does.
Okay, good. So when it's off the red condition, then you know you're gonna be good to go. We are gonna go ahead and get the app on a phone and we will show you what this looks like, but we may have to actually let this charge for a few minutes. And obviously at the beginning of this video, you saw the kids riding it and hopefully like nobody got thrown off and damaged or injured. But I'm gonna just tell you this right now. If you're concerned about 10 miles an hour, don't be. No. It's pretty slow. In fact, honestly, I wish there was an easy way to cheat and make them a lot faster, because I'll tell you this, if there's one drawback to any of these e-bikes is that they're not very fast, okay? Now, fast leads to more dangerous, admittedly. So we want you guys to use your best judgment on your own children because you love them more than we do, okay? We're not gonna insult your intelligence by telling you helmets, knee pads, arm pads, all that crap. Do what you feel comfortable with the understanding that kids can get hurt on these things, so please use good judgment. But it is your kid after all, not mine. So our kids, we're gonna let them ride this with or without a helmet, depending on how quick it goes. So we'll make our decisions on value judgments there. We do have helmets for our kids, and our kids do ride a lot. So if your kid doesn't know how to ride a bike, you might wanna get them a balance bike to start.
Yes.
Balance bikes have worked good. We have one child that had a delay for some time, and she had a lot of trouble on bicycles. But she rides along a balance bike like it's nothing now. And then she looks this way while she's going that way. It's very scary. So that's been one of the biggest conflicts we have with her. Our younger son is just like does everything without working, and he's cute and gets away with everything. So it's terrible. But the thing is, anyway, it'll be bad when he's a teenage boy. Anyway, this bike will fit them for some time, actually. Believe it or not, that's a pretty good amount of room. And it looks like the knees are gonna be the biggest problem here, because you got to think about your kid's height. So when you watched our video at the beginning, when you see how tall my son is, he's about up to here now, and he's 6. So we'll call it those measurements, just give you an idea. We don't generally feature our kids on this channel, except when it's like impossible not to feature them. So just keep in mind, you know, we live in a big, scary world, but some things are just really too hard not to share, because these fun things for the kids are awesome. And we love bringing this to you on Brian Phillips RC. Again, it's not a radio controlled SU27 or J11. This is a J11, or, you know, like a P51 or anything like that, or this P51 over here, or some commercial airliner that flies, you know, beautifully right in front of you, or an M4 doing crazy 3D tricks that I can't quite do myself, but I could tell you that it'll do it. You'll have to take my word for it. But at the end of the day, we love reviewing all these different things that you can do and have a positive experience with your kids and your family. And that is really important to us. We have a family of 6, and we love to share these things with you. So we appreciate you guys watching these videos. We know it's a little bit off color for RC world stuff, because this isn't technically RC, but it is an electric bike, okay? For God's sake, it's basically RC. Hey kid, turn left. He turns left. He's radio controlled in that way. But beyond that, this is super fun. We want to share this with you so that you guys can make some good decisions without having to take that big financial risk, or maybe watch us and say, hey, that thing sucks. So we try not to present things in such a way that we make up your mind for you, except in the most extreme circumstances. We're just like absolutely love something, okay? There's a lot of things, most of them would be like, yeah, some people would take it or leave it. And then there's things that are terrible. And we almost never talk about how terrible they are unless they're really, really terrible, like, excuse me, I had a sneeze there. So anyway, guys, hopefully we answered all your questions. If you have more, leave in the comments below. If you want to help support us, buy these things, whether it's this one or another similar one, follow the links. We'll still get credit either way. You don't pay any extra. And check brianphillipsrc.com. That's our domain. And if we have extra coupon codes and things like that, they get updated there in the event that they aren't always updated on the video description. If you're watching this on a smart TV and you want to help support us, the easiest way to do it is just to whip out your phone, open YouTube on your phone, or open it up on your computer, because I know a lot of you guys watch these things on smart TVs and you're just enjoying dinner or whatever it is, and you're like, but I can't take action right now. Go to your history. So click on your little circle that's got your icon, and then you can load your own page, and there will be like a couple of things over here for you guys, over here for me as the viewer, over here for you, and it's gonna say like history. Just go to history, you'll see the videos, and you just scroll back. Oh, there's the bike, click on it, boom, there you're there. Go to the description, you can see it. Or you can even more easily, BRIAN, Phillips, PHILLIPS, RC. It's very simple. It's spelled exactly like it is on this page, wherever it is. And you can go there. You've got a little thing down here. You can click on that. It'll bring you to our page, okay? So if you ever have questions, a lot of those questions are already answered for you. But you can leave them in the comments below. Special thanks for super thanks. Special thanks to our members on YouTube. Special thanks to our Patreon supporters that are regular monthly supporters, and special thanks to our Patreon supporters who send us one-time gifts because they get a little windfall of money, or they like the video but they don't want to buy this particular Cruiser 12. And we completely appreciate that, guys. We review so much stuff on this channel. We can't afford to buy all of it because we're getting this stuff sent, and we just try to sift through the garbage so you guys don't have to actually buy the garbage. You can say, hey, you know, you did that one, then you did the other one, and I really like the other one. Hey, that's what we do here. So you don't have to. okay? Because there's nothing worse than spending a lot of money, you get something like this and then it doesn't work well. That is just break your heart. It'll break your kid's heart too. Of course, your kid's heart's gonna be a little bit easier to deal with. If you're an adult and you had to pay the bill, you're gonna care more. So anyway, we'll let this thing charge up for a few minutes and we'll come back from this clip and we'll actually show the app playing some music or like a YouTube video, and then we'll show the different smoke effects real quick here so that it's not outside where it's a little bit harder to notice. Stay tuned. All right, so I have my phone. We did a Hyper GoGo quad not too long ago. And so I just wanted to show you one detail that you may have not thought about yet. But once you get your app going, depending on if your phone fits, I have a Galaxy S9 with a commuter case on there, and it does fit, okay? Now, you can also leave that off and it'll hold your phone so you can see the data, which is nice. Our kids don't have phones. They're too young for that right now. So this shows the information that's available, okay? Nothing's gonna work right now because this thing is off. So I'm gonna just show you what it looks like. We did fill up the water on both reservoirs. My wife used just like a measuring cup that's squishy, and it made it pretty easy. Okay, so press and hold. You hear that little pop, that's your speaker activating, but you have to press and hold longer. See, it's not on. So show them up here. Press and hold. There's the light comes on. You can see the lights on. It starts running. It defaults to the condition of light on. There's also a power button. If you press the power button, it will toggle between neutral, slow, and L. I don't even know what that means. Then there's a light. You press and hold it for 2 seconds and the headlight turns off. Okay, go around the other side. I'll show you what it looks like. So currently it's off. Go back a little bit. Press and hold. Now it's on. It seems like it's gonna be bigger and brighter than it really is, but this will be fine. And you can tip up and down, and you can actually actuate this a little bit left and right, but you'll be bending the steel, okay?
It'll make them seen though, which is...
Now over here, I'm gonna press the light button. This is quick. 2 clicks, changes the light on and off. 2 clicks, turns it on and off. Now, I'm gonna lean onto the kickstand so I can give throttle. It's got a good spring feel to it. And you guys may notice that the smoke isn't blown out, or is it?
It is not. I'm gonna turn it on.
Yeah, go ahead and turn it on by pressing the button.
And then there's tail lights.
So these lights inside help to make this visible. And you can see it's wet because we've been running it for a few minutes, playing with it. And it's pretty fun stuff. Okay, so for those of you that were concerned about noise and volume, there isn't really a great adjustability on that. And then also, if you look at the controls, there is a Bluetooth icon. You see the Bluetooth icon?
No,
is it on?
It's not.
Okay, so that means we've disconnected. So get the app, you just literally turn on your camera and scan that thing, okay, and it'll download the correct app. You have to choose between iPhone, Android, and then I think it's like PC or something like that. But you download the app, and then what you'll do is you'll just don't pull down your screen and hit Bluetooth. You can pair it one time, and then all you have to do is hit the Bluetooth, and it'll say HyperGo. So it's got that little scanning thing that comes up, and it's gonna say connected, and then what's gonna happen is it's gonna give you a bunch of trouble, and it's not gonna work, and I'll tell you why. Because the app has to restart each time you turn it off. So I'm gonna close the app. I'm gonna go down, open it up again. Yeah, see, I didn't close it, so I have to actually close the app formally. Then I pull up the app, let it load, okay? Then it's gonna do, you don't have to do that. Then you can skip, and boom, there it goes. So now, if you look up here, the Bluetooth icon's on. So once you see that Bluetooth icon, you're good to go. Now also, I'll just lean this real quick. Stay up there for a second. I'm gonna lean this, watch this. See the speed? It says 5, okay? That's because we're in a lower speed setting, okay? I'm gonna show you how to change that. Oh, there's 2 ways to change it. You can unlock it in this app, but it says L. So press the power button briefly and it goes to N. So now watch.
You should go to like 8.
It's supposed to be like middle. Okay, now let's see what speed that gives us. 7. Press the power again and then it goes to S. That means sport.
Whatever.
So anyway, so stupid settings like we're used to. And there's also on this icon, watch that as I give throttle. Again, this is not gonna be that fast in real life because you have to build up speed. And there is gonna be latency, and yes, it is actually gonna show the change in speed. You don't have to be full bore on your speed all the time, okay? So that is a wheel speed sensor. So it's not actually like GPS driven, but there is also a GPS map. I'm not gonna open it for sake of our security. You guys can turn on your GPS and open that, and it'll actually map your route, which is pretty cool. Again, way overkill for a kid's toy, but the light feature is really cool. So this is in flow mode. Solid switches it to one choice of color. So you can pick only 3 colors. And then in strobe, it's gonna be like that. So compared to flow, which I can't really honestly tell the difference, okay? The smoke is on, power shuts the light off, power turns the light back on. 3 different colors. I'm gonna go back to flow, that's the default setting. You can press the button to shut off the obnoxious noise, but I gotta say, the idle noise is only gonna be obnoxious when you're inside. When you're outside, the kids are gonna love that. So that's super fun and super cool, I must admit. So I'm gonna turn it back on. Now, I'm gonna open up another app, a YouTube app, and I'm gonna see if I can play audio events through this. So I'm just gonna search for my own video, and that way I can share it. So I'm gonna go to my channel, and I'm just gonna click on this video, and it's of course going to play an ad, so I have to skip my own ads.
Yes.
And once I've skipped my own ads, oh, there's 2 ads. YouTube, thank you so much. You're getting so much bang for your buck on this ad. So as you can tell, the audio is not currently going to that yet. So I'm gonna see if I can get my audio pulled up. So via Bluetooth, I've got all sorts of different things. I renamed mine Hyper GoGo Chopper. The app is required to use this device. So in my case, the way mine works is you can see Hyper GoGo Chopper, okay, because we have another Hyper GoGo that's something else. And you can hear that audio playing in the background. It's playing from my phone. Okay, so I'm not sure how exactly to get the music to play because they suggest that in the app there is a music icon. I haven't found the music icon anywhere, okay? So if I go to settings, then it shows this. You can see set the maximum speed, 13 miles per hour. Okay, ride auto shutdown time, how about 30 minutes, okay? System self-check, I'm gonna pull this away just in case there's any sensitive information. Oh, so it goes through a self-check of all those different modes, which is pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna hit start and see what happens. Oh, it just runs it again, okay? So it runs through the system self-check and it looks for all that stuff. Okay, now I'm also gonna look at, you can change your user's password. I'm in miles per hour, which is what we want, and I'm in sport, which supposedly keeps it to 12 miles an hour, but the thing on the instrument cluster only says 10. So I don't know why that is. So I'm gonna go to mode, and there's child mode, regular mode, and advanced mode. So on the screen it says L, N, and S. So it's very confusing and stupid, but whatever. Now, also I wanna point out one other way you can control the light. As you can see, the light is shining. If you press this button, it shuts off the light. Now that light's on by default. There's no way to shut it off here unless you press and hold for 2 seconds. But also, again, you can change this without the app by clicking. Shuts it off. Clicking turns it back on, but it turns it on to the condition that you've chosen with the app, okay? So it's a pretty simple thing. Also, no brake lights that we can tell. The brake lights are going to be something that is only available on more advanced bicycles, okay? And also, these are plastic tubes, so they're not hopefully going to retain a lot of heat. And then to turn it off, you press and hold power. Power off. And it says power off audibly, okay? So I'm gonna take a second off camera and see if I can get this to play music, and then I'll come right back and show you how to do that. Because it is a cool feature if you can do it, especially being as you could take potentially and set your phone in there, and you could take it for a ride and you could listen to music. You'll have your speed here. You don't need to necessarily do a lot of articulation of the phone. Plus you keep your kids from reading their text messages while they're riding a bike. So anyway, we'll be right back. I'll see if I can get the audio to work. Okay, so in my condition, the way I got mine to work is there's two different, it's kind of hard to, okay, so I have a Chevrolet truck, I have work tunes, and I have Pile Audio. So there's nothing you can see there that's too critical. But as you can see, there's two different icon styles. This one I renamed, that's for the app. This is the Bluetooth. So when I scanned, I had to scroll all the way down and pair to two different things, okay? So when I now play audio, it will mute any sort of audible feedback from throttle response like this, okay? And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull open a YouTube video, and what's gonna happen is the audio will be actually broadcast into the speaker. So I'm gonna go to my channel, and I'm gonna click on the same video, and hopefully it'll play like 6 or 7 ads, as you can see. So it is playing an ad, so we'll have to pause.
I felt like this whole...
So as you can see,
So we're gonna put it up for...
the only reason we're doing this is because of royalties. We can't afford royalties from other music.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen this,
See, the volume works, and as soon as you turn it down,
this is an Airbus A330.
it just diverts, okay? Now, let's listen.
Fictitious, guys. That means it's fake. There was
Okay.
no 600. It is not
So it is definitely working, and as soon as I pause my video, it comes back with audio. Now, if you want to just listen to only the music, I click that once, and let's see what happens.
That would be shorter.
Still works, okay?
Cool.
Now, if you click on your Bluetooth settings by pulling down your shade and clicking on Bluetooth, in Android at least, then what's gonna happen is you will be able to pair to this for audio, and you don't have to have the app running. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the app, and I gotta say, this app is the same app we used on the quad, the Hyper GoGo quad, and it didn't give us any problems with connecting. This one has been a little bit more finicky, and you can definitely see there's no Bluetooth indication up here, okay? Okay, so I get to the login, I skip, and then I can go to the Bluetooth icon once, and it may already be connected, but I'm gonna hit Bluetooth, and then it says Hyper GoGo, and it's scanning, so I'm just gonna go back. If it says scanning, I really don't care. First thing I do to see if it's connected is I look for Bluetooth, and I see it, and then I give some throttle. And it takes a second. There's quite a bit of latency on Bluetooth, okay? But you'll notice it's at 5 miles an hour. That's because L is low speed. Pressing the power button,
Power off.
it shuts it off. You press it momentarily and it changes the modes. Okay, you can also force the mode action change from the app.
Bluetooth paired.
Okay, good. So if you go to mode, disconnected the vehicle, you see that problem, guys? We found it again. I'm gonna see if I can just go in there. And I do see Bluetooth, so maybe I can go to mode now. Nope, disconnected. So very frustrating. And we try to show you these things because we're not here to cover for technical mistakes that they make on these machines and equipment that we like to share on Brian Phillips RC. But what we do like to do is we like to show you how well it really works. Now, again, we're going back and forth, changing things, trying to teach you guys what it can do and not necessarily actually using it in a practical way. In a practical way, you're gonna get used to it and you'll just adapt to whatever nuance this Bluetooth has. It's the same with any Bluetooth device we've used in the past. The other thing too is the first time you turn this on and you're not expecting it to talk to you, it'll scare the crap out of you, because that's what happens with our ATV is we'll be sitting upstairs and we'll hear like some weird thing, and it's the ATV, the kids are turning it on.
And I'm assuming it's probably the same. That one will tell you audibly when the battery is low. It'll say low battery, please charge.
Yeah, because right now
Until
we're
you stop
at
and plug it in.
90% and we've charged for what, like 15 minutes while we were cleaning stuff up. So hopefully we answered all your questions about this very desirable item. I cannot wait to get the kids on it. Obviously, you guys will have seen the video. And so I just want to point out the fact that we really appreciate you guys watching our stuff. We know that our format is long, and long format is a little bit harder to get traction with on YouTube. But at the end of the day, when you're spending a few $100 or $1,000 or more on an item that's a kid's toy, I want to make sure it's going to be worthwhile. And hopefully we've helped to address some of your concerns that you might have with safety concerns for your own kids, or maybe your grandkids, or nephews, nieces, things like that. So this looks sweet. Cannot wait to get it out. And we're gonna probably do that right now and capture a clip in the dark, but we are gonna do a right-on video, which you guys have already seen. If you wanna help support us and help pay us back for the time investment that we do in these videos on Brian Phillips RC, all you have to do is smash the like button, get subscribed to the channel and click the bell for notifications so that you know when new content's coming. Usually it's like between 2 and 4 or 5 times a week, depending on the week. So we have lots of new content. And never feel ashamed if you have to skip parts of the video because you've already, maybe you don't need the unboxed part, you just want to see how it rides. That makes sense. We get it totally, guys. And then, of course, if you want to support us financially, you don't want this particular product or your kids are a little bit outgrown on something like this, so you kind of miss the boat on that until they have their kids, then obviously you'll come back to this in, 10 years or 20 years or whatever it is. We have Patreon, PayPal, super thanks, and YouTube membership. But we still think firmly the best way you can support us is just when you see something cool, get one for yourself, for your grandkids, for your spouse, or whatever. It's the best way to support us because then we keep our little ecosystem, this environment where we've got new content all the time. We keep those guys happy. We keep you guys happy. We're totally truthful with you, but then we have these guys getting some reward for having sent out stuff for review. So it's the best way to support us is to do that. So thanks guys for watching. We have so much more content, and yes, it's gonna be RC content. Don't freak out. It's not like e-bikes are gonna take over this channel. It's just something that we really enjoy, and our kids love this stuff. So I mean, honestly, our youngest kid, he flies airplanes, but just barely, but he loves doing this, okay? The next kid up, she probably won't ever really fly planes. She's just way too timid, but she could probably ride this, and we're gonna get her riding this. It'll be super fun for her too. And also, if you have kids that have limited mobility or balance issues, just keep that in mind. We'll kind of speak to that a little bit in the ride, but she's gonna be good on the quad, but not necessarily on a bike right now. But she'll get there. And so we're just being patient with her on that. And then of course, our older kids are gonna try to ride it because they can technically fit, and they'll probably have trouble with their knees hitting the handlebars, but that's okay because they'll do it and look like dorks and they'll love it. So anyway, if you have bigger kids that want something like this, that you're not alone. All right, another thing too, as they're riding, just make sure you double check that these don't loosen. And if they do loosen and you find that it becomes problematic for you, get yourself some Loctite, put the Loctite on there, put those things on, get them tight. Okay. I don't think that's gonna be a problem, but if you have kids that aren't good about giving you feedback on stuff like that in time, they've got a ton of threads on there. It's gonna take forever to fall off, but just keep an eye on it. Other than that, looks amazing. Can't wait to get it out. Thanks for watching, guys. Come back for more.